This next story, controversy over that code name being used during the Osama Bin Laden raid, that code name Geronimo. The chief counsel for the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs called the name inappropriate. Loretta Toole thinks it was wrong to link Geronimo, who she called one of the greatest Native American heroes, to one of the United States' most hated enemies. Now at 9, what do you make of this? Does Toole have a point, or is it not an issue?
And right now, of course, Congress is examining and claiming that it was inappropriate and devastating to use this name. So they're looking into it. I think they hear the call from the folks out there who are very offended by what has happened.
Well, the big argument here, too, is, why would you compare a terrorist to somebody that stood up for the Native Americans? I mean, everyone has a different perspective on this, especially those who are Native American and feel that the real-life Geronimo, was someone who really protected them.
I don't think they were thinking about it, though. Do you know what I mean? I think Geronimo has become like a figure of speech almost, and that is probably why they chose to use it. They weren't thinking, okay, well, what are the ramifications and the history of this man? I'm pretty sure that it was just, hey, Geronimo, it's done. We did it.
But they could have called him Tinkerbell. That wouldn't have offended anyone.
Yeah, they could have, and then Tinkerbell.
Then all the Disney characters and all the people who love Disney would be totally.
Maybe they could have picked a name more insulting to Osama Bin Laden. I don't know. I mean, Geronimo, of course, fought wars with the U.S. and Mexico, but he fought for his land and his people. Totally, you just can't compare him to Osama Bin Laden.
Apparently the correlation comes where Geronimo was known for just being able to sneak out of situations and disappear into thin air was the legend, and obviously Osama Bin Laden, it's been really hard for them to track him down, and that was the comparison. That's why they said they used it.
And that's exactly what the Obama administration said. They indicated that the Navy SEALs who killed Bin Laden did not use Geronimo as the code name for Bin Laden, but simply the act of what has happened, the code for the capturing and killing of this terrorist. Let's get to your comments.
All right, we have Stephanie Gutierrez who says, there's a reason why only a select few intelligent people were included in this very sensitive mission. Obviously, this official didn't meet the qualifications. How petty.
And D. Ebersold writes, they did not use that as a code name for Bin Laden. His code name was Jackpot. If and when they killed him, they were to say Geronimo.
Yeah, so there's kind of some argument about how it was used. Valerie Stewart says, out of all the code names or words, why use that one? We are too cocky sometimes for our own good. No compassion.
Maggie Shaw writes, I agree that the choice of code names was insensitive to Native Americans. Maybe Hitler would have been a better choice.
Yeah, and Kenneth Shaline goes on to say, being very proud of my Native American heritage, I still find this a non-issue.
Christina Sue Hutchins says, excuse me, do you want a politically correct name over a highly effective strike force?
Well, and one of the aides even said that they were more concerned about the impact on kids because the children who maybe don't even know about the 9/11, they were too young, they're going to associate Geronimo with this man that you see on your screen, and that's where some of the discrepancy was coming in. What impact will it have on kids?
Well, Bob Burwell points out this just in, Geronimo wasn't his real name. Geronimo was a prominent Native American leader, and Geronimo was the nickname that Mexicans used to give him. It wasn't even his real Indian name in the first place.
Yeah, and then they also they have to pick things that can't be confused with something else that doesn't sound like another word. And Alexander Casey Thornton comments on that. She says, or he says, I don't think they choose code names to be controversial. I think they choose things to stick out so they are hearing the correct word. And that's another thing, just something to differentiate from everyday jargon.
But as a kid, don't you remember jumping out of the tree saying Geronimo?
Absolutely.
That was the point I was making.
That as a child, doing that and hearing my friends do that.
But in
we
this
are
day
politically incorrect.
I know, this day of PC, there's just so many ways you can get yourself in trouble.